What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today, I am excited to announce a new series that will be happening weekly on this channel going forward for the rest of time. Right? Called DC Universe Discussions. In this series, I will be covering everything DC. So that means comic books, movies, television, video games, and anything else DC, and stuff like that. But also, I will be doing, like, if there's a big news story or a show going on right now in the DC universe, I will be also doing those videos as well. But you can see this series as like a news cap, a news recap for DC this week, or a news recap for DC every week. Period. I intend to do this series every Sunday of every week. So, yeah. So again, this series will be covering the DCU and everything in DC. So that means sometimes comic books, sometimes video games, sometimes movies, sometimes animation, sometimes like casting announcements, sometimes stuff like that. But I will still be doing separate videos on like big announcements during the week. So like take how James Gunn last week announced, technically last week, he announced on Wednesday last week that Superman Man of Tomorrow is coming July 9th, 2027, right? I will be doing videos on that, but I will also be talking about it on this video as well. In this video as well, which I'm going to call the DC Universe Discussions series. And, yes, I'm taking a title from another YouTuber because I don't know what else to call it. Shout out to Boba Talks for coming up with this, right? But, and then when a TV show, video game, movie comes out, I will also be doing reviews of the TV show and movie or video game during the week as well. This series is just gonna be like a recap, a recap for the week of DC, right? And then I'll talk about the smaller things that get announced as well, right? If there's a big thing, I'll do a video during the week. If there is a and then we'll also talk about it here. If there is a smaller thing, that will just be covered here. And then and also, guys, these videos will be longer. Like, I don't know how long, but probably like 30 minutes or so, right? At least 30 minutes or so, right? And yeah, so so that just means you get more DC coverage than you already do on this channel, right? And because I'll still be reviewing Peacemaker week to week on Thursdays, right? But this kind of replaces me covering the Peacemaker podcast, because you guys know, if you guys haven't read my comments that I put in the Peacemaker video, I'm not going to cover the Peacemaker podcast anymore. I'm still going to watch it, obviously, but the reason I'm not going to cover it anymore is there's not always big things being announced, right? Like, James Gunn doesn't just go, oh, here's Superman. Sometimes he does that, but it's not every single week, right? So this series, DC Universe Discussions, is going to replace that. So yeah, and I want this to be a community, y'all. So if you have any thoughts on anything and any questions for me, please leave your comments in the comment section below. Or please leave your questions in the comment section below. And I try to get back to, if you ask me a question, I try to get back to you, right? And stuff like that. So please leave your thoughts and your things in the comments below. So yeah. So thank you for that. So Before we start, I wanted to make a correction um, from my Peacemaker season 2 episode 3 review. So, and this will have spoilers up to in the DCU up till Peacemaker season 2 episode 3, just to let you guys know, right? So, in this in this episode, we see Rick Flag Jr., Joel Kinnaman's character, right? At the beginning of the episode, where he's with Harcourt, I misspoke. That's not Harcourt from Earth 2. That's not Earth 2 Harcourt. The Harcourt we see at the beginning of Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 3 is our Harcourt. Earth 1 Harcourt, right? And she and Rick Flag from our Earth, so this was before Peacemaker killed him. This was like 2 hours before Peacemaker, like 2 hours before Rick Flag went on the mission with the Suicide Squad where he died. Right? And it turns out that Rick Flag and Amelia Harcourt were friends, but friends with benefits. That's what I'll call them. They were friends with benefits. So that and this thing also this show also means this show that I do every week will also help me, because if I make like if I say something wrong in the review, I can correct it on this show every week as well. So yeah, yeah. So that explains why Harcourt has mixed emotions towards Peacemaker. She loves him, or she's developing feelings for him. Earth 1 Harcourt is. But she also hates him because Peacemaker killed her best friend. So yeah, for me, I just wanted to make that correction for y'all, because one thing I always want to be on this channel is transparent, and when I screw something up and tell you guys the wrong thing, I always try to like right my wrong, right, in a way. So yeah. So now let's talk about Clayface stuff. So I did a video on Clayface this week, but there was more stuff involving Clayface, right? That happened this week. So this week they revealed the Gotham map for James Gunn's DC universe. They revealed the Gotham for James Gunn's DCU. The Gotham in this universe looks to be based off of the No Man's Land story. If you guys haven't read that story, that's a great Batman story, man. So I recommend you to read that story, right? And they have we know that Joker exists in the world of the DCU because they've had graffiti done on the set of Clayface, right? So we know the Joker exists. What else do we know? We know there's a Botanical Gardens in DCU Gotham, which means Poison Ivy exists. We know we haven't really seen much of Clayface. And I want to make it clear again, guys, that this is set in the DCU, not in Matt Reeves' universe. They're filming in they're using Gotham. They're both using the same location for Gotham, but they look very, very different. Like if you just look at the courthouse from the Batman, the Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves, and you look at the courthouse that Clayface is using, they look completely different, right? If you look at the City Hall from Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's Batman, and you look at the City Hall from Clayface, they look completely different. So, yeah, for Clayface, I think that's all we got, bro. We got the Gotham map with a bunch of cool locations, like Ace Chemicals is on it. Wayne Manor is on it. So, um, that's a very Bruce Wayne Easter egg. They got Kane Bridge. If you don't know who Kane is a reference to two people. Um, so Kane is a reference to one of the creators of Batman, Bob Kane, and it is also a reference to Jacob Kane and Kate Kane, Batwoman. So that's a reference there. Um, Wayne Industries, they have a location for Wayne Industries in Gotham in the DCU. So that's that. Um, I wonder, and they showed the one place, the one place of like importance that will, I mean, the not importance, but the one area that I think we are gonna visit for sure is GCPD, Gotham Police Department. So yeah, that's all the Clayface stuff. All the other Clayface stuff that I didn't get to cover in my other video, right? But yeah, so that let's talk. So the big announcement of the week was James Gunn saying that he is going to be releasing writing, and directing Superman Man of Tomorrow. It's just called Man of Tomorrow. So he's going to be releasing, directing, and writing Man of Tomorrow, right? And it comes out July 9th, 2027. So I already did an 18-minute video on this, right? And those videos will continue, by the way. Like, again, this is like a news recap video where I can just theorize what's going to happen in the DC universe, correct myself if I got something wrong during the week involving DC, and like any smaller things that get announced, I will also cover on this. But I will also be covering the big things in this video that this weekly video that I already covered during the week. But I will also be adding things that I forgot to say in those videos. So like this, you guys know I think Brainiac's gonna be the villain of this movie, right? I've said that. Thank you for all the support on that video. That video has like 80 something views on it. So thank you for all that support. Yeah. So but one of my guys that I watched named John Campia, he did a segment on his show yesterday. But who are the four most likely Superman villains? He doesn't think Brainiac's very likely, right? And his points are very, very compelling, right? Because Brainiac, what's Brainiac been? Like, I know there's a great Superman story called Superman Brainiac Bottling of Condor, or I think that's what it's called. And Superman, that's a great Superman story. But what's Brainiac been for, like, the last 10 years? Like, when Scott Snyder wrote Justice League, Brainiac was the main villain of that, right? So, or he was the main villain of the arc. So Brainiac could be he could be a Justice League villain, right? So the other three villains that John Campia came up with that could be the villain of this movie are Doomsday, which I think is completely unlikely. The reason I think Doomsday is completely unlikely is because, bruh, if you do Doomsday, like, Doomsday is like a finale of Superman villain, like, and like, I don't want to see Doomsday yet, right? I do want to see Doomsday because that movie would have great fights and great special effects in it. But it also needs to be a villain that also challenges Lex and Clark at the same time. So you need a villain with intelligence and with brawn. So, right? And because I agree with the theory in this movie that Clark and Superman, I mean Lex and Superman are gonna make an uneasy alliance, right? So that also, there's been some actors that have hinted that they're in this movie. So Isabella Merced, who plays Hawkgirl, hints that she is in this movie because she tweeted about it or did an Instagram post about it. Um, the confirmed two that we have are David Cornswet and Nicholas Holt, obviously, and then Aaron Pierre, the guy who plays Jon Stewart, who we haven't seen yet. Um, Lanterns comes out next year. I'm very excited for Lanterns. Hinted that he's also in this movie, which I am very 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 interested in. Right. That's why I was saying in my video that I did this week. In my video that I did this week. Uh, or last week. In my video that I did last week, because it's Sunday now. So in the video that I did last week, I was saying I think a Green Lantern is gonna show up, and now I think it's Jon Stewart, which is cool. But yeah, like for me, like uh, and then one other interesting thing that John Campea proposed for the villain, he said Zod. Now, I know that some people have said Zod's been overused. I disagree with that statement. We've only seen Zod 3 times. For example, we've seen, like, even though I love the Joker, right? We've seen the Joker like 20 times versus Batman, right? In live action and video games and stuff like that. We've seen Zod 3 times, bro. Right? We've seen him in the Flash movie. We've seen him in Man of Steel, and we've seen him in like the Superman 2 from the 80s. Right? Right? So, and there is a big theory going around, and I don't know if I subscribe to it, but that Bradley Cooper is actually playing Zod and not Jor-El, right? Now, the message James Gunn has said, the message that Lex got from the Fortress of Solitude, um, James has said that message is real, right? And I believe him. I don't think he would lie about that, right? But at the same time, Bradley Cooper as Zod would actually be a very good casting, in my opinion. So, yeah. And that's all the stuff that I have for Superman. So please leave your thoughts in the comments below, involving Superman, Man of Tomorrow. So yeah. What else do we have? Oh yes, we have what last thing I'm gonna cover in this video. A new Batman #1 came out, written by Matt Fraction. Matt Fraction is the guy who wrote his 3 biggest series are the Immortal Iron Fist. So he's the guy that came up with like the greatest run of Iron Fist ever, and then he also did a great Hawkeye run. That if you guys have seen the Hawkeye TV show, then that's what that TV show was based off of, and he made Hawkeye very cool. He's also the man who came up with Kate Bishop, right? And now he's writing Batman, and his Batman is great. So I watch a guy named, and you guys should watch him, Comics Explained. So I watched his video on it, right? Because you guys know I can't really read. The reason why I pick up graphic novel, like I watch either Comics Explained variant, like the YouTube channel variant, or Comic Story. And again, rest in peace to Benny Potter. But this story is great. Like, the way Matt Fraction is doing it is Bruce Wayne and Batman are co-leads. So they're both the lead characters in it. So, what happens in this is Batman in this issue 1 is going after Killer Croc. And he has a new suit that I would love to see replicated in the DC universe with a blue and gray. Oh, that would be so sick. In James Gunn's DCU, I would love to see that suit be replicated with blue and gray. He has a new Batmobile, but this Batman is cold. So he'll take out a criminal and then he'll for example, like in this issue, there is a person getting mugged. So Batman takes out the criminal and says here, and doesn't give them any doesn't give the victim any help getting to the hospital and stuff, but he leaves the car there. So he's very cold, which is in Batman's character, but we haven't seen him like that in a while, right? So that's something different. But then Matt Fraction also shows Bruce's gentler side in this, which I also like. He shows Batman being very brutal and very focused on the mission, but he also shows Batman being very friendly and stuff like that. Because it turns out in the story that Killer Croc is losing his intelligence, so he has the intelligence of a baby, right? And so Bruce is so the doctor will take him in, and so the doctors at Arkham Asylum can fix him or take him in. He's like, good job, buddy, right? So you can see Bruce actually cares about getting people rehabilitated, and not just, I'm Batman, I will punch you in the face, right? Because that's what we like about Bruce. We like the dark vengeance angle of Bruce, but we also like how Bruce has a heart, right? Which again is what I hope to see in James Gunn's DC universe. I love the dark, brooding Bruce, but I also love the Bruce that has a heart to him. If you watch the animated series with Kevin Conroy, rest in peace to Kevin Conroy, that showed that perfectly. So yeah, and that's all I have for you today in DC Universe Discussions Episode 1. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, and this just means more DC coverage, DC content for y'all. And yeah, thank you so much. If you enjoy this video, and if you have any questions for me involving this series, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for all your support, and I hope you have a great day.